Under Night In-Birth Exe.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Back Alley Knife Fights. My name is Razan. This is the series where I slowly but surely try to get better at fighting games, and hopefully one day I can call myself competent at them. First video of 2020 I'm making here, 18 days into the month, but part of that is because I've spent almost half of the new year with the cold so far. And yeah, if I sound a little stuffy or raspy compared to usual, that's why. So don't let that bother you too much. I'm trying to power through it as best I can because I wanted to make this video, because there's actually been a lot of exciting developments in my life, especially as of late, in regards to where I'm at with fighting games that I want to really touch base on, and I'm really looking forward to making this video. And yeah, we're back here playing Under Night In-Birth Exe latest. You can't say late ST or latest, you gotta say latest, you know, you got the brackets going on there in the title. So yeah, I talked about last time that this is gonna be my main game going forward, and this is the one I really want to get, you know, good at and sink the most time into. But at the same time, I did say at the end of last episode, I think that, oh yeah, maybe I'll play a little bit of Guilty Gear Xrd and record that. That never ended up happening, and it probably won't happen for a while, and I'm going to tell you why. So, after giving Under Night more of a try, Blazblue Cross-Tag Battle 2.0 came out, and I got really into that with friends, just playing casually. I really didn't do any research or tutorial work going into it, but it's just a thing to, you know, talk to friends while doing, and, you know, just being bad at fighting games while getting my ass kicked, and just enjoying the fun and the insanity of Blazblue Cross-Tag Battle. Very fun time. So I sunk a lot of hours into that. I think I said last time that I wanted to spend about 3 hours every week playing fighting games, and I mostly stuck to that. December I slipped a little bit because I got ridiculously busy. It was the holidays, work got busy, family was over, that sort of thing, so I couldn't really keep it happening that much, but mostly I've been pretty consistent with it, you know, whether it be playing arcade mode, tutorial modes, mission modes, just dicking around with friends, playing online. I've really kept to it, and I've just tried to immerse myself as best as possible. You know, I kind of fall into that philosophy that even if you're doing a little bit at a time, you know, over time that accumulates experience that is worth knowing, and I'm happy I've been able to mostly stick with it so far, because sometimes I can be a little flaky when it comes to commitments like that, as I feel probably a lot of you who are longtime viewers of me can probably pick up on by now. It's kind of just an inherent flaw to my personality that I think I need to continually work on, but I've been sticking to it, and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. So yeah, the only other thing to talk about is that I signed up for my first fighting game tournament. I am going to be attending a major tournament down in Illinois this May called Combo Breaker 2020. It's one of the bigger ones if you're unfamiliar. And it's a very celebrated tournament, just nothing but positive things from the community in regards to this tournament. I'm really excited to experience it for myself. They have a new venue this year. The hotel where they're holding it at, just rooms booked within like a couple hours. I was at work, I was freaking out. Later when I got home from work, I managed to find a hotel within walking distance, and I booked my rooms already. I signed up for the tournament. I am going to this thing, and I am so excited, you know. It's going to be an experience for sure. I signed up for only 2 tournaments. I didn't want to go, you know, wild with it, and also every entry, there's an entrance fee, so, you know, I didn't want to sign up for a bunch of shit and then cancel or whatever and waste cash or whatever, so I signed up for the Under Night tournament, and I signed up for the Blue Fantasy tournament, and I'm really excited to prepare for those, and just, you know, I've been practicing for now, and been approaching these games differently now, you know. I know that there's this thing coming up that I need to be prepared for, and it's kind of made me, I guess, more motivated to really try to learn stuff and really understand the ins and outs of these games and try to improve my play, and you know, take criticism to heart and all that sort of thing. And I really hope that, you know, I can give it my all, you know, considering my lifestyle and like my responsibilities in life. I want to dedicate plenty of free time to getting better at these games, and then when the time comes for the tournament, I can really say to myself, you know, no matter how I perform, I did my best and I gave it my all. I am so fucking excited to be participating in this tournament. It's gonna be a fun time, and you know, it's just gonna be cool to kind of experience the fighting game community firsthand. So yeah, with that being said, I'm putting a lot more time into Under Night now. Not to say that the series won't feature, other games here and there. I've been playing a little bit of BB Tag, as I said, and also every now and again me and my friends dip into Melty Blood, so I'll probably be, doing some stuff with that every now and again, but Under Night is my main priority going forward, and Blue will be my number 2 priority when that comes out in February sometime in America. So yeah, why don't we kind of quit with the pretense here and jump into the episode itself, now that I've wasted like 5.5 minutes recovering all of the important fighting game news going on in my life. Alright, moving on to the training mode here. Don't worry, there's some match footage that's going to be coming up a little bit later that I recorded with some friends, but I learned a lot of vital lessons that I think really did me well since I last recorded an episode for this, and I really didn't want to gloss over them. I really want to take my time and explain myself and kind of what the hell is happening here. I think I'd be doing a disservice to the spirit of the series if I didn't really take my time and kind of cover everything I've learned. So the first thing that I learned, actually, was that I've been playing this game wrong the whole time. Oh no. And, I don't just mean the fact that I'm bad and I don't really know what the hell I'm doing in a match, but I actually just mean on the button layout level. I've been playing this game kind of wrong. As I think I covered last time, before making Under Night In-Birth, the developers for this game, Soft Circle French Bread, made Melty Blood. And there's a community edition of that game that's kind of been going around, and it's just a way to play with friends conveniently with good netcode. So me and my friends got a bit into that, and when I was setting that up, I realized that both Melty Blood and Under Night are supposed to be played with a different layout than what I've been playing them with. So I've been using a box layout, and if you're looking at the screen, I have a little bit of an indicator of the change I made here, when actually what you should be doing is have ABC on the top row and then D as the first button in the bottom row. Both Melty Blood and Under Night use ABCD. So oops, that was my mistake. But as soon as I changed to this layout, it just felt a lot better. It felt a lot more natural. I kind of just assumed, like, oh yeah, you're supposed to play, 4-button fighting games, you're supposed to play with it in a box layout, because that's what I was used to from Persona 4 Arena, and also my limited experience, honestly, with KOF, even. But I mean, that being said, I actually kind of play with I kind of play with this 3-button on top, 1-button on the bottom layout with Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 too. So actually, this did feel a little bit more comfortable for me, I think, just on that level too, because I've spent a lot more hours of my past fighting game experience playing like this with Marvel than any of the other ones with box layout. So yeah, just a change that I thought was worth noting, and also something that I highly suggest you do if you are playing using a different layout and you're not fully comfortable with it. Just a recommendation there. So obviously I've gone through the in-game tutorial, though I could use a refresher. We'll talk about that in a bit. But my first bit of outside the game research that I really dug into was this, I wanted to find a Akatsuki combo that I could pull off with relative ease. Just something that I could sink my teeth into and rely on once I got a hit, because I was kind of tired of not really knowing how to get damage, even if it wasn't optimal or anything like that. The thing I constantly hear from players is that, you don't need to be doing like the super ridiculous optimal combos right away. You should just find something that you can do consistently, and it's better than nothing. So that's kind of what I wanted to do, just to get my, find a foundation. And I found this Akatsuki beginner combo video from a YouTube channel called Raidhin, however that's supposed to be pronounced. I'm going to link to this down below. It is a fantastic combo video, just really good. And it even looks like it links to more information in the description of that video itself. So definitely check this out, and if you're playing Akatsuki, this is just a fantastic resource. A lot of fighting game combo videos, you'll find, for some of them especially, they'll just assume that you know you kind of recognize the moves and know how to input them, so sometimes they don't even provide you with the inputs. But not only does this one provide you with the inputs, but it also gives you it kind of gives you like the core route of the combo, and then kind of fills you in on the info for like how to start the combo, how to end the combo, and just kind of goes into the variants of it, and also has a little bit of descriptive text talking about some intricacies that you're going to want to keep in mind while pulling these moves off. And I just respect the work that goes into this a lot. I think it's a fantastic video. Yeah, I fully recommend it. So I'm going to link that down below, and then I'm going to showcase a combo that I got from this video that I can now pull off pretty well, but I struggled with learning a long time. So we're going to see, we're basically going to track my progress, becoming more and more comfortable with pulling this combo off, going from kind of a janky version to it to the actual, you know, suggested version of it, let's just say. And I'm just going to pull up this infographic that you commonly see going around here. If you haven't already, I highly encourage you to learn numpad notation. It's important, especially if you come from the Capcom side of things, kind of like how I did when I was first starting out forever ago. I think it's important to just kind of learn it, even if it seems kind of unintuitive at first. There is very good reason for people using numpad notation, especially as you start to branch out. Sometimes games have weird motions that you need to do with the stick that you can't easily summarize with a phrase like quarter circle forward or dragon punch motion or half circle back. And also too, just it's you know, it's a very convenient shorthand. It's a lot easier to type out 2-3-6 instead of quarter circle forward every single time. It just looks nicer once you're used to it. And also, it completely avoids language barrier issues. You know, numpad notation is a lot easier for people to communicate using than, you know, say going from English to Japanese or Japanese to Spanish or anything like that. It's just a very, very useful thing to use to communicate how you should be moving your stick and what you should be doing. It's something that you should really take the time to learn. Alright, let's take a look at that combo now. So, the first thing I learned when trying to learn combos in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is really the fighting game that I first really tried to improve at, was that, especially for a game like that, it really helps to break it down into segments and trying to understand how each of the individual segments work, or ways to memorize them by breaking them down into chunks, kind of like you would do with learning something in school or something, and then worrying about putting it all together later. But first you gotta focus on the components of it as best as you can, just take it bit by bit. So this combo starts with a simple ABC standing in neutral position chain into a launcher, which is 6C, which is Akatsuki's uppercut, and then a thing called a micro dash, which we're going to talk about. This is probably the most difficult part of the combo. Just today I was seeing on Reddit someone was, you know, asking for help, trying to figure out how they're supposed to do this, and I struggled with this a lot. It's something I wasn't really used to. Basically what a micro dash is that you dash and then really fast you input your next move. And it basically lets you cover a good amount of distance pretty fast and then hit the opponent with a move. So you're basically chasing after an opponent after you kind of push them away. In this case, what you're pretty much doing is launching them into the air, and then you're using the micro dash to move forward enough so that when you use your 2C, which is kind of like a sweeping kick attack, you're in a good position to catch them. Now, what ended up happening when I tried to learn this is that I learned that in a lot of cases, instead of doing the micro dash 2C, which is pretty hard to perform consistently when you're first starting this out, you can just use, well, you can, for one thing, in some cases, if you're close enough, you can completely avoid the micro dash altogether and just do the 2C, and you'll hit them with Akatsuki's toes, and you can just go into the rest of the combo from there. But it's not really something you can rely on as consistently. Or alternatively, you can just use 5C and just hit him with that move, which I think has a bit better range in that regard, but again is not as consistent as learning the micro dash variant, which is what you really should be using. Once you get used to it and you figure it out, it's just a lot more reliable, and it's something that you should try to learn if you can. But, you know, if you're just starting out like I am, you know, you can just use whatever works for you for a little bit there and just get used to it before trying to learn it the proper way, I suppose. And then, yeah, from the micro dash, we go into the 2C, into the 5C, which is basically a sweep that catches them, and then a neutral kick that pops them into the air. Then we finish up the combo by jumping to follow after them, and then just doing some, you know, some basic normals, A, B, into the B variant of the Tatsu special kick, which I'm forgetting the proper name of right now, but, you know, it's a Tatsu. You know, Akatsuki's a Shoto character, kind of like Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. And then into the Tatsu Super in the air once again. And then that completes the combo, and it does a pretty decent amount of damage. You know, it's not the best combo in the world, but it'll you know, do its job for where we're at and our purposes. So let's just play the thing all at once. By the way, this is probably the most recent bit of footage I've recorded for this entire video. I was not able to even do this combo for the vast majority of the time that is reflected in this video's overall, like the rest of the footage. So just keep that in mind, that it's not like I got this first try or anything. It took me a bit to work up to it, and it's something that I just kind of inserted here as an example of what it should look like when you know what the fuck you're doing. And towards the end of this combo, during the Tatsu Super, you can actually utilize the chain shift mechanic if you have Vorpal to get a second super in. And actually, I've been misspeaking this entire time. When I'm saying super, I should be saying EX moves. I just keep thinking of them as supers because they're very powerful in this game, and they require a lot of meter compared to most other games with EX moves. So yeah, just scratch that, and I'll try using the proper terminology moving forward. Now, keep in mind, this is after hours upon hours of trying to learn how to do this combo and commit it to muscle memory. And I still fuck it up every now and again, especially in the middle of the match when, you know, I'm kind of frazzled and I don't have the time to think and I'm just kind of moving off of raw instinct. Here's what it looked like when I first attempted to do this combo for the very first time. Yeah, I couldn't do it at all. Like I said, it took me a few hours to get really confident at this, and, you know, it was frustrating at first. This was supposed to be a beginner-level combo, and I just flat-out couldn't do it for a bit, and it was, you know, kind of a downer until I finally got used to it, and I put the time into making sure I understood how it worked. But in the meantime, I decided to go even more elementary, even more basic. I just decided to play around in training mode with the character's moves and figuring out how the normals chain together into the special moves and all of that, and just figured that I would take the time to try to learn the character at a, you know, as much of an elemental level as I could before really starting to dive into things like bread and butter combos and stuff like that. And I think that was something that was good for me just in terms of getting a good feel for the character and actually understanding, like, okay, here's actually how things go together and the physics of this character, instead of just kind of guessing mid-match or, you know, mashing things out. that overhead strike into a sweeping kick that picks them up from off the ground is something that I'm a little salty about, because it's something I immediately forgot about as soon as I started to learn more advanced stuff. You're gonna watch some matches later where I totally could have done that to capitalize and get more damage out of situations, but I just completely, like, forgot about it and just wiped from my memory. So, you know, just another example that it's always good to hit up training mode every now and again and remind yourself of the tools at your disposal. You know, don't forget about stuff. I then had the idea that, you know, maybe I can't do the combo with the micro dash in the middle of the screen, but maybe if I push my opponent into the corner and make it into a corner combo, I can at least get an idea for what it should feel like a little bit. So this is what ended up happening when I tried that out. This is me actually getting the micro dash in a combo for the first time and then immediately getting so excited that I get all frazzled and just fuck up the rest of the combo, but I mean, I still, you know, complete it, at least it doesn't drop, so I just decided to throw it in because it's kind of funny. And then right around here is where I started to experiment and realize that you didn't need to follow up 6C with the microdash 2C necessarily. Again, depending on the range, you can either do 2C or 5C just standing still, and it'll connect. It's not very reliable, it's very wonky. Another thing you can do, what I'm about to do here, is you can dash in and then use 5C, and then it'll connect that way too, but again, it is a very wonky way of doing it, and it's fairly unreliable depending on the spacing, and it's just better to do the microdash 2C and learn how to do it the hard way, the honest way. But I mean, this is something that I could do for online matches for now, and hope it connected, and you know, it was something that I could awkwardly kind of use in the meantime while I was learning how to do it the proper way, and I think that was a good thing for me to do. Even if, you know, I'm sure there's some people that are saying you probably should have just spent the time and, you know, dedicated the energy to just doing it right the first time. But, you know, I wanted to go online or play with friends or do whatever. And, yeah, I just wanted something that I could do that was a little bit more powerful than what I was pulling off in my regular matches, not knowing what the fuck I was doing. And this worked for now. But, I mean, I left it behind once I put the actual training in. And actually, something that I should explain, and part of the reason you don't want to rely on just the dash forward into 5C, is that Akatsuki actually has like a dashing kick attack that you do by inputting dash and kick at the same time. So if you mistime it, you're going to end up getting that instead, and it'll just vault the opponent across the screen, and you'll have to chase them down again, which is not very good, and especially bad for Akatsuki, because Akatsuki really struggles to move around and get in as is, so you don't want to be creating more work for yourself. So yeah, just learn the microdash if you can. And for the sake of it, here's Baby's first cross fail-off combo. Oof, okay. I've been simultaneously recording and editing this for hours on end now, and this video is getting quite long for what I thought it would be. I think what I'm going to do is cut it short here, and then save the matches for a sequel video thing that I'll put out not too long after this one, just so, you know, it's not one massive video. Yeah, look forward to that, and I'm gonna go the fuck to sleep because I'm exhausted. Good night.